Hello, my name's Bill Aitchison and I'm in Nanjing, and well, it's been interesting time, I guess. We of course here in China experienced the virus first from January onwards, and it's threw everything up in the air. I'm mainly working in performance and photography, and all the performances were cancelled for the first half of the year, and now it seems like could well be quite a lot longer as well for things in many countries. So what do you do was the question at first, and I went through periods of being quarantined here in this apartment. So 2 times for 2 weeks I couldn't go outside the door. And I guess I started making a lot of these video calls to connect with people in a virtual way. And that was quite interesting because it gave rise to, well, on one level, connecting with people far away who I haven't been around so much. And the sense of importance of video call went down. So you could sort of just hang out with people, play with them in a way which maybe you hadn't done in a while, and even within groups. And one thing I started doing within the live art group, which I curate here in Nanjing and which was scattered, we'd start hanging out and having drinks, chat, whatever. And it started becoming interesting, this aesthetics of the video call. Now, of course, I was thinking, is there something I can do? Is there some way to continue working? And I looked at quite a lot of the online streamed events, and I find, because in my practice I value presence so greatly, it's one of the kind of most important values. And when that is kind of denied, when the work is reactive at best and not interactive, you feel you might as well watch video documentation, which is produced to a higher standard, quite frankly. So I realized that in these video calls there was something rather different. And so I started making kind of performative video calls, and then realized that this was a kind of creative route. In the end, I invited different artists and performers, and we played around, and then we narrowed down to 7, and I worked with them to produce kind of performances for the camera. And in these, they give a performance from their apartment, from their room, for an audience of one person who's also in their apartment or their room, can be anywhere in the world. And these performances, which I worked with them on, are really looking at the social relation and interactivity between them. So we've been kind of pushing this to kind of an extreme in a way, and I guess part of the reason was I feel under the quarantine we've been silenced. We've become kind of almost passive observers of this rolling news coverage and give our commentary, which is not worth a great deal, to be perfectly honest. So rather than doing that, I wanted to re-establish some kind of sense of agency and voice for us, and these intimate performances do precisely that. They have actually given quite a lot of meaning, and we premiered in an online arts festival in Chinese University of Hong Kong a couple of weeks ago, and we did 40 performances, and they were great, actually. They're all very different. Some of them use kind of body art, live art methodologies. One of the people I work with is an actor. One is kind of life drawing and conversation. They're all rather distinct, and I was working with each of the artists to kind of develop what was particular in their own style. And well, we're now looking at performing it a whole load more. And so rather than dropping out this time, we've in fact kind of found something new, which I would never have come up with this format normally. And it's really interesting, actually. One of the things is, we started to explore our apartments, find ways in which we could bring together the camera and video art with live performance, in which it's intimate, moving, and it doesn't just move the performer, also the audience member too moves with it in their own space. So it kind of transforms the home into a kind of quasi-theatre. And the different topics which came up in this work was, I suppose, how the quarantine period and the virus, all of this has affected us. What are the emotions which it has produced? It seems to me it's a very strong, very powerful period in which a lot has been happening in the world and around us. It's produced connection, it's produced hatred, it's produced many reflections. I think often when the society is moving smoothly, you don't see the reality, but when things fall apart, that's when you see what it's made of and what the human relations around you are really built upon. So it's been an absolutely fascinating period, and we've now got documentation of all of these performances as well, which is really valuable, I think. Videos, and these videos don't just show the performer, they show the audience as well, because it's much around conversations and actions which are shared. So it's been really a very rich time, and the performers I worked with, maybe majority of them are here in China, but I also have people in the UK and people in the US. So it was a very interesting process, directing and mentoring artists via WeChat and Skype. But we did just that, and it works. So I've kind of actually found this period has been quite an inspiring one, in which I've discovered something. And I think it's completely about frame of mind, that if you go into it seeing it as a problem, then it will be a problem. And if you go into it and look at how to adapt to it and put whatever plans you had aside and rather embrace it and see what is this new reality, you find stuff. So that's what's been happening here in Nanjing.